Diane from Teach Pre-K, and for new teachers especially, I just wanted to take a few minutes, so this will be pretty short, to tell you all how I do specific drills at our school with 3 and 4 to 5 year olds. I am a firm believer that school needs to be a safe place for kids. And I remember being terrified when the fire alarm went off and just shaking in the line. And we would go to our designated place and I would just sit and wait and I would just be shaking and shaking and shaking. And I would be really frightened of having another fire drill, and we haven't had a fire drill for a while. Something is going to be coming. So I am super, super sensitive. I deal with kids ages 3 to 5 who are, traumatized by sometimes what we as adults would consider very small things. But to them, they are not small things. So I take that very seriously, and I take my responsibility to them and their parents very seriously. School needs to be a safe place. So as a teacher in my school, which goes from toddlers that are 2 years old all the way through 8th grade, all of us teachers get advanced warning when there's a drill. We will know sometimes days before. And on the day of the drill, I will always be informed of what time the drill is, so I can prepare my children before, get them lined up. For the first few years I was teaching, I would let the fire alarm go off. I would tell the children that it's going to and that it's not really anything. We're just going to line up, and all the kids in the school are going outside and meeting at our meeting spot in the parking lot. Well, after a while, I just thought, I don't like how scared these kids are. The day after, and for many days after, a lot of children would come to me and say, are we having another fire drill? Are we going to have a fire drill today? And so I noticed that they were scared and that school didn't feel necessarily safe to them anymore. So I decided and talked with my fellow teachers downstairs in the basement where the preschool is. We talked about taking them out before the fire alarm goes off, because first it's the sound, then it's the drop everything, we've got to line up and we've got to get out fast, and then there's all the big kids coming out like practically on top of them, because we don't have that many exits in our school. We have to share exits with the middle schoolers who are 7th and 8th grade. So they were supposed to help us, which just caused more confusion, and we wouldn't know where all the kids were in our class. So we just decided we would find out the time of the fire drill, prep our kids. I tell the kids, you will hear the loud sound outside. It's just really loud inside. So we're going to come outside first. And we line them up and we take them outside. And we sing songs, we do finger plays, and then the sound happens. And I say, see, that's what the fire alarm sounds like. So just how we lined up, stopped doing what we were doing, lined up, and came out the door, we would do that if that sound ever happened during our school day. And then I let all the big kids go back in, and we go in where there's not chaos. And that keeps the kids calm. It makes them feel like we have everything under control, and it takes anything that had the possibility of being traumatizing out of it. Now, some people on our safety committee said that they didn't like that and that the kids needed to hear that, and they even suggested us shoving our kids out our basement windows, pulling the grates that are 1,000,000 pounds off, like pushing them off and shoving the kids up that way. Talk to the insurance company about the liability and the risk there to the school, and no, we will not. trust us, if we had to do that, we would. We would. No problem. We've all talked about it. We've looked at it. We know exactly what we would do, but we're not going to practice that with children. I think that was one of the most ludicrous things I had ever heard in my whole life, and they were absolutely dead serious. They had one of the preschool teachers who was on the safety committee in tears about it, because she was like, we are not going to do that. We cannot do that to these kids. We might hurt these kids. And they just said, oh, but you'd be protected by the Good Samaritan Act. It's like, no, you don't. Nothing's happening. If it was a real fire, yes, but if nothing's happening, we are not going to risk hurting and traumatizing the kids at the same time. So that went out the window. So I try to make those fire drill days as low stress and low trauma on the kids that I can. When I know that we're going to have an earthquake drill, some of you guys might have hurricane drills, tornado drills. It just depends on the area of the country you live in. We live in an area that is prone to earthquakes. So when we're having an earthquake drill, I also prep the kids, and I'll say, hey, someone's going to come on the speaker and they're going to say, we're having an earthquake. And we are going to go under the tables and get every part of our body under the tables. We've got the 3 tables, and we tell them the other safe places that they can go if they're not close to a table. But most of the time, all of us can go under a table. And I tell them over and over, this is pretend. We are pretending and we are practicing. So if anything did happen, we know that we could do it. We do like missing student drills. We will do lockdown kind of shelter in place, but not active shooter. So we practice that. And then and because of the events that have happened in Minnesota a couple days ago, at my back to school night, which was the night of the shooting, I had to go over what we do for active shooter drills. And what I do, first off, the teacher on one end of the hall secures the doors on that end, and the teacher across the hall and we are both closest to that hallway door. We secure that door. So we basically lock off our hallway. Then we go into our rooms, pull the shades on our little windows. We're lucky we're in the basement, so we're not visible from outside. And I'm super lucky because it's really hard to see my classroom. But we pull the shades, turn the lights off, take the kids in the corner, and we just say, they don't think we can be quiet. They want to see if we can be quiet. So we have to be as quiet as we can be. And they'll come and shake our doorknob and see if we start making noise. So I just get a tiny flashlight or my phone, and I read a book in a quiet corner with the kids. I also have taken the kids into my back room because we did have an active shooter incident that was the day after the Parkland shooting. So that was really great. And I took them into my back storage room, which I'm keeping extraordinarily clean. So they are all going to have a place. Same thing. The window is covered. I would turn the lights off. I would read to them with a flashlight. There's no windows. But I would just tell them, the door is definitely locked, but I'd just tell them, we're just being quiet. And we're kind of playing a hiding game to see if they can find us. So to them, it's just kind of a game. I know, and the other teachers know that it's not a game, but to the kids, I take out all the trauma. It is just a game. We played this quiet game today, and we do those a couple of times a year. I think some schools do them more often. We just do them twice a year. However, we are a Catholic school, just like that Catholic school in Minnesota. We are in the middle of a well-established neighborhood, just a cute little neighborhood school. And it just kind of brought everything closer to home and made me feel like doing this video was important, because I know we have to practice these things with kids as little as, 2. I wish we didn't. I really, really wish we didn't. But, the climate we live in now, and the prevalence of guns and firearms makes it so that there's a bunch of crazy people out there that have easy access to guns and can come and do this. So we practice, but we do it in such a way that the kids don't know what we're practicing. I don't want them to have fear. I don't want to put fear into those kids. They will come to these realizations soon enough as they get older, but I would like them when they're as little as they are to stay as innocent and just kind of blissfully ignorant of that stuff. But I would love to hear what you guys do for active shooter drills and fire drills and earthquake, tornado, or whatever kind of drills that you guys do at your school. It's so great to hear what other people do, because I think it can give us some ideas of how we can handle those things in our classrooms and make school be a safe place for kids and feel like a super safe place for kids, and a place where they come and they know they can have fun and be with their friends and teachers that really care about them and love them, and just create a great environment for learning and, becoming the best little humans that they can be. And I know some of you might not agree with my feelings about like the excess of firearms, and that's okay too. Everybody is allowed their opinion. I think, we're all different people. We all come from different backgrounds, and, I respect everybody's feelings, and I hope you can respect mine as well. But that is it for today. I would love to hear how you guys handle the various drills at your school.